So all the illegal immigrants have been hunted by ICE agents all through Florida, and Florida construction, what a shocker, at a standstill. That's right, because while all the illegal immigrants have either been detained by ICE or are hiding because they don't want to even deal with ICE at all, shocker enough, American citizens haven't rushed to take those jobs. That's right, because even though the American citizens have all claimed that illegal immigrants are stealing jobs from Americans, none of them have actually gone out to do those jobs that the immigrants aren't doing anymore. So construction, surprise, sitting at a standstill. You've got vacancies and job openings all over, but yet nobody wants them. Why? Because immigrants of this country were doing jobs that Americans didn't want to do. If I'm wrong, leave a comment.
Nothing is better than being MAGA. Here in Florida, let me tell you what we're doing. You see, what happened was Ron DeSantis and all the MAGA legislator here, we kicked out all of the immigrant workforce. We made it clear that they weren't welcome here and kicked them out of the state. That's right, even some of us MAGA business owners voted to kick out our own workers, and now we cannot fill the work. Oh, but don't you worry, MAGA's on top of things, because right now our wonderful legislator is debating on loosening the child labor laws here, because our genius MAGA plan is to replace the immigrant workforce with our children, our Florida children. Doesn't that make perfect sense and just sound wonderful? The policy we support is actually detrimental to us, but we pass it anyway. Now all the MAGA youth is going to be doing construction on your house. Doesn't that want to make you buy a house in Florida?
Florida beaches are empty because racism don't pay the bills. Now, those beaches and businesses are empty in Florida, and the business owners are scratching their head. They're like, I don't understand what's happening and why this is going on. This is what happens when you build your entire platform on bigotry and fear. When you spend years attacking immigrants, the very people who visit your state, spend money in your hotels, eat at your restaurants, buy your tacky-ass beach towels. Don't act shocked when they stop showing up. And understand, it's not just tourists who aren't coming to Florida. When you squeeze the working class like a lemon, there is no juice left for joy. You think people got beach money right now? People can't even afford to go outside. And all those Trump tariffs, those weren't on corporations. Those were Trump taxes on us. Prices went up, jobs got cut, and now folks are choosing between groceries and gas, not plane tickets to Clearwater. And y'all made Florida a hostile environment, honestly. And not just for immigrants, but also for black people, LGBTQ, teachers, hell, even librarians. Y'all made the beach a battleground. So now it's just you and those overpriced souvenir stands collecting dust. And now conservative business owners are mad. But they're mad at the consequences of the policies that they voted for. Baby, this ain't karma. This is cause and effect. Conservative policies destroy communities, period. So ask yourself, how long are you guys going to continue to vote against your own business?
Tourists are avoiding Florida like it has emotional herpes. Florida tourism is down, beach businesses are dying, and the people are somehow surprised about it. Come to Florida, where the sun burns your skin and the governor burns your identity. It's so politically toxic that even the alligators are switching parties. DeSantis is out here turning Florida into a family-friendly dictatorship. It's like North Korea with Margaritaville decor. He's out here banning books, attacking drag queens, and starting a fight with Mickey Mouse like he's the final boss of the woke Olympics. The man literally lost a fight with Disney. That's like getting beaten up by a piñata. Tourism in Florida has dropped harder than DeSantis' presidential campaign. You remember that? Blink and you missed it. It was like watching a wet sock run for office. The beach bars are empty. Even the piña coladas are asking, is it because I'm fruity? You know things are bad when even retired boomers are thinking of packing up and moving back to New Jersey.
Hi Sistalk family, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Teresa.
And I'm Scholar, and if you're new here, welcome to Sistalk React.
Now, today we are diving into something wild. Apparently, Florida MAGA's voters are begging Trump to stop destroying their economy.
Yes, and Florida's economy right now is a hot mess. And people are complaining about insane gas prices and the rent prices which are going up. And small businesses are right now, they're struggling. And jobs are dying up in that state. Before we dive in ahead, Let's first watch how people have reacted to this shocking news of Florida's economy crashing, and then we'll come back with our full commentary at the end of the video. But before then, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel,
kindly subscribe. We really appreciate if you really do so.
Immigration and customs enforcement raids in Florida are taking a severe toll on small businesses and agricultural industries. Arrests have increased by over 200%, with more than 10,000 detentions between January and June compared to the previous year. The agricultural sector, including strawberry and citrus industries, struggles to find seasonal workers to meet output demand. Florida relies on over 150,000 seasonal workers annually, according to the State Department of Health. The Trump administration has stated it wants the agriculture workforce to become 100% American. However, the Labor Department says that existing unemployed or marginally employed Americans will not be available to replace the large number of migrants needed for labor positions. Small businesses in local communities face difficulties bringing in customers and new employees as the enforcement climate creates widespread fear. Business owners report significant drops in patronage and worker availability that threaten the viability of their operations in affected areas.
This pro-Trump business owner in Florida is finding out the hard way. John Wong runs a small grocery store in Florida. His family started it back in 1983 after immigrating from Hong Kong. And for decades it thrived, a local staple for Asian ingredients in Manatee County. Then, Trump got elected, and everything changed. But don't feel too bad. John supported Trump. He believed the promises: lower grocery costs, better trade deals, help for small businesses. Instead, Trump's tariffs crushed his store. Most of John's inventory comes from China, the Philippines, and Vietnam, the exact countries hit with massive tariff hikes. He used to pay $2.75 for a box of Mabo tofu sauce. Now, that same box is $5. Every shipment that arrives, the prices go up. Again. He's tried to not raise prices on his customers, many of them elderly living on fixed incomes, with one of his customers now rationing a can of sardines just to get by. John's store has been around for 43 years. Now, it's barely hanging on. And the worst part for John? He voted for the guy who's directly responsible for driving it straight into the ground. John told reporters, "Is there any future? Is this the American dream?" Hey John, this is the dream that you voted for. So have fun with it.
So it looks like some Florida beach community businesses are struggling with a lack of summer tourism. And it looks like they can't seem to figure out why.
For us either. I don't know if it's the hurricane, the economy, a mix of the two, but we've definitely been, everybody around here that I spoke to has been down about 30%.
But, I have a couple of ideas as to why this is possibly happening. I'm gonna venture a guess and say that it has something to do that happened back in November of 2024. I mean, our Canadian neighbors from the north are cutting back on traveling to the US. And even other international visitors are cutting back on traveling to the US because of political tensions. And it looks like spending from international visitors is looking to drop by $8.5 billion this year, as estimates show. Also, people have less disposable income because of rising cost of food, as well as bills and everything else. We're already seeing this in like Las Vegas, but Las Vegas is just expensive in general too because of all of the extra fees that they like to tack on. But I guess I could classify this as a fuck around and find out tourism edition. But comment and let me know what you think about the situation, and my name is Philip, and if you like what I post, please consider giving me a like, share, follow, and repost, as it really does help me as a content creator. Thank you.
We have modern builders in Sarasota, Florida. They have filed for bankruptcy with $7 million worth of default loans and numerous projects that are just sitting idle. Yeah, they have no money, they can't finish, and it's only getting worse in Southwest Florida. The crash is in full mode, and let me tell you something, if you think this is the one and only builder that will be filing for bankruptcy in Florida, you would be wrong. There's going to be a number of them over the next 6 months. Watch this space, because over the next 6 months, we could be reporting on this every few weeks, because Southwest Florida is in complete crash mode and inventory continues to soar. And now you've got hedge funds trying to get out of Florida as fast as possible. Airbnbs have now given up. Southwest Florida and all of Florida has turned sour. Real estate investors are trying to get out, and builders are trying to liquidate at almost any price. Like and follow for more. We'll be talking about this for the rest of the year for sure.
So I got a question for Florida.
How do you feel about that getting officially shut down? And how do you feel that you, being a resident of Florida, have to pay that bill? Because since this right here was not under any federal guidelines, the federal government does not have to pay this. It comes down to the state. And the state has already indicated that the residents living in Florida have to pay it back. So if you live in Florida, let me know your thoughts and comments over this way. Is this a bill you expected to have to pay? Let me know your thoughts.
Just because everybody wanted proof, these are America's top 10 strongest state economies, best prepared for a recession. Florida is number one. As you can see, Florida tops the chart on CNBC's economy rankings for the third consecutive year in 2025. And here are some of the things that they're looking at: the 2025 economy score, the GDP, job growth, debt rating and outlook, as well as share of state spending, federal income funds, international goods and trade. So let's go ahead and argue that.
Florida is so broke right now, people are literally financing their groceries like a car note. Florida has officially turned into the second most financially distressed state in America. Of course, only Texas beat them out. When I saw it, I thought, dang, Florida and Texas are in competition with each other to see who can treat their people the worst. See, here's the wild part. A new study found that 25% of Floridians are financing their groceries using buy now, pay later. You heard that right, loans. We finance cars, homes. Some people even do it to furniture. Now it's chicken wings, bread, and milk. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me, because when you look at Florida, a huge part of the problem is the elderly. And it's not like grandma can go get a side hustle at Amazon or the grocery store to make up for the money that she misses every month. The elderly don't have that option. It means that they're feeling the squeeze tighter than anybody else. And the squeeze is brutal. People are delaying payment, racking up late fees, filing bankruptcy, or just straight up not paying bills no more. That's not living paycheck to paycheck. That's survival on credit. And just note, it's not just a Florida story or a Texas story. When two of the largest states in the country are collapsing under the weight of necessities, that means it's a sign that it's happening everywhere. So if Florida is drowning while selling sunshine and palm trees, imagine what it looks like in states that don't have the tourism economy to fall back on. And quiet as kept, Florida ain't got it to fall back on no more either. So remember, America will sell you a dream, but it will make you finance the groceries just to stay alive. And if you think it's normal, then you've already accepted living in a nightmare.
Anyone else trying to sell a house in Southwest Florida? We've been trying to sell our house in Southwest Florida for probably close to 3 years. We rented it out for 2 of those years. We made the mistake of moving to Florida, thought it was going to be a whole different life. We were looking for peace. We got total chaos. We stayed there for 5 months and we moved back to our original state. We're still here now. We rented that house out for 2 years, and then as of this June, I think it was May, at the end of May, June, we put it up for sale. We finally have buyers. And now the market is so bad that we're hoping that the appraisal that's being done tomorrow is going to appraise for at least what the offer was. It's a solid $150,000 less than what we paid for it. At this point, we don't even care about losing the money. I just want to get rid of it. I'm sick of paying for 2 houses. But hopefully it'll be appraised for at least what we were offered tomorrow. I'll let you know.
Canadian snowbirds haven't been flocking to South Florida lately. President Trump's immigration rules and tariffs have caused controversy in Canada.
Florida's economy is driven largely by tourism, and this year the state is on pace to set a new record for a number of visitors that come here.
Tourism officials say they've seen a marked decline in the number of Canadians visiting the state since U.S. President Donald Trump began making 51st state comments, and some Canadians I spoke to here in Fort Lauderdale say they wouldn't have made the trip.
Florida's golden reputation as a dream destination is starting to fade, not from storms or economic crashes, but from a political gamble gone wrong. Decisions made in the state's capital have scared away some of its most loyal visitors, wiping out billions in revenue that once fueled local businesses and beachside towns. A power move has spiraled into one of the costliest missteps in state history. How did a paradise built on tourism end up pushing people away? And what happens next for Florida's future? Let's dive in. If a state depends on visitors to fuel its economy, why would its leaders do anything to drive them away? That's the question hanging over Florida right now. A place once known for endless sunshine, ocean breeze, and booming tourism is facing a self-inflicted crisis that no hurricane or pandemic could rival. It started with decisions that insulted the very people who kept its economy alive and ended with a political move so reckless it threatened to wipe out billions of dollars in revenue. For decades, Florida's strongest allies weren't in Washington or Wall Street. They came from the north, Canada to be exact. Every winter, thousands of Canadians would leave behind snow-covered streets and head south, settling into Florida's coastal towns and suburban communities. These weren't short-term tourists looking for a week of theme parks and sunshine. They were seasonal residents who spent entire winters in the state, often staying for months and spending freely across local businesses. On average, each household poured more than $30,000 into Florida's economy every season. From groceries and gas to restaurants, retail and recreation, they fueled the local lifeblood of small towns and big cities alike. Their spending bridged the gap between summer peaks and slower off-seasons. For businesses that relied on steady foot traffic, cafes, golf courses, real estate agencies, these Canadian visitors weren't optional. They were essential. Yet the relationship between Florida and its most dependable guests began to crumble when politics entered the picture. Donald Trump called Canada the 51st state and introduced tariffs that directly hit Canadian industries. The tone of his remarks, combined with trade penalties, sparked outrage across Canada. And while these policies were national in scope, the consequences landed hard on states like Florida, where tourism was tightly linked to Canadian visitors. Many Canadians felt insulted, turning their frustration toward America itself. In their eyes, traveling to the US meant supporting a country that had disrespected their leaders. That anger translated into action. Canadian travel to Florida plummeted almost overnight. According to Congressman Jared Moskowitz, the state saw an 80% decline in Canadian tourists. Local business owners began noticing empty rooms and quiet beaches that used to be filled with northern visitors. Richard, who owns hotels in Hollywood, Florida, described how his regulars stopped returning. They openly said they didn't want to spend money in a place where they felt unwelcome. Within a year, his Canadian bookings dropped by half. This wasn't a minor dip, it was a devastating economic.
As we all know, Florida is one of the MAGA states that really support Trump, but after the economy crashing, they are now turning against Trump, and they are calling out Trump directly, and they are saying that his recent policies and political drama are hurting the local businesses, and they are scaring away investors.
The reason why Florida people are mad is because this is not all about politics. It's about money. You know, Florida tourist numbers are dropping. Some big companies are pulling out. Even the housing prices are exploding. These are people that really believed in Trump. They knew that this will make America great again. Others are questioning the government. Why is it really focusing on revenge in politics instead of fixing the economy that really hurts the real families?
The big question is, are the Florida MAGA voters finally realizing the consequences of their choices? Or is this just temporary anger that will fade after Trump rallies again? Tell us in the comments below. And put politics aside, what the Florida MAGAs and everyone in general are fighting for is stability, jobs, and also affordable housing, and also safety, and not all these commotions of politicians going against each other. We really want to focus on the main thing that really improves every state. And when it comes to Florida state, the tourism blooms there. And when it's no longer blooming and it's crashing, the whole state is falling. And why is it falling? Because the politicians can't come to an agreement and stabilize the state. Finally, we would really want to know what you think. If this is the start of a Trump losing his base or just a bump in the road. Tell us in the comments below. If you're a MAGA voter, how do you feel about the betrayal from Trump? And if you would really want to support him again, or are you just giving him time to make things better? Because I don't think things are even getting better or great. Tell us in the comments below. And finally, credit goes to all the respective owners of the clips and content used in our video. Your thoughts and perspective made today's work possible.
And if you found this video helpful and you really want to see more of this, kindly give us a thumbs up. And also if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe for us. We really appreciate if you really do so.
Yes, and after you've subscribed, don't forget to hit that notification bell for future updates. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. We really want to hear from all of you. And finally,
see you in the next video.